All right, what's up, everyone? This is a new episode of Sports Harder, the NFL Draft Special Edition and Sports Harder. So we are excited for talking about a first couple rounds of action and what's been going on. As always, I am your host, Maddie Lukewarm Ice. I got my NFL Draft cap ready to go for the Rams, and my co-host, as always, is Chris the Gorilla Binder.
What's up, guys?
He got his Raiders gear, so he's repping, but he didn't want to get the NFL draft cap like I did.
I don't think they're. I don't know. I think they're cheesy.
Look at that.
Last year's was pretty cheesy too, but I'll probably end up getting it just because I've had like draft caps for the last like 10 years, so it's always been my thing. I always get the draft cap, and I get the sideline cap every year. So
there you go. So I mean, I don't always get the draft cap because, like you said, I don't always like what it looks like every year. But the draft cap, you can at least guarantee that it's going to look different each year. You know, because a lot of sports, they kind of have a hard time coming up with new hats every year because they, like baseball and stuff like that, they always have like the same logo, you know, on their hat and the same design, you know. But with football hats, you can at least get a different looking one every so often. So I don't always like the sideline caps either, because I feel like the sideline caps are kind of the same every year. They're just the logo with the design, you know. So
yeah.
But I mean, you have big reason to get like new stuff because, you know, Vegas Raiders is a new thing, you know. So I mean, a lot of that stuff is all going to be brand new. So it's a rep in the shirt there.
Yep. I actually when I went to Vegas, I got it. So
see there, exactly. And I'm repping the 99 today because you know, best draft pick that the Rams have ever made in the history of their organization. So
Jack Youngblood was good.
Yeah, true. There's a bunch of good Hall of Famers, but I just, you know, man crush on Aaron Donald right now. So, you know, I'm all about him and everything going on with him. But alrighty, well, let's start off with the first round then with the picks. And you know, the first overall pick was the Jacksonville Jaguars, and not surprising that I lose this pop bet that Trevor Lawrence goes number 1 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I will send you your pop in the mail for this bet. So definitely.
I won like 2 other bets on that too. So
what's up?
I won 2 other bets on that too. So like one of my buddies has to pay for my golf. And one of my buddies had to pay for something else for me.
Nice. So, who did they think? Did they think it was going to be someone different?
Yeah, they both thought it was Justin Fields just because of Ohio State.
Yeah.
I was like, no, dude, you can't pass up a once-in-a-lifetime like Trevor Lawrence, man. Like, that kid is a beast.
Well, I was going to ask you, you know, how you felt about the pick. I mean, usually with the number 1 overall pick, it's kind of a no-brainer for most years. I mean, some years it's kind of like, you know, they're kind of just taking a quarterback just to take a quarterback. But this year it seems like the field was kind of littered with quarterbacks. To not give too much away, obviously, because I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have already watched the draft, but I think they said this was only the second time in NFL history that 3 quarterbacks have gone in a row. So it hasn't happened very often where they pick 3 straight quarterbacks in a draft. Everyone thought it was going to be 4 straight, which would have been the first time in NFL history, but it did not play out that way. So with Trevor Lawrence, though, you're saying, you know, obviously that you think he's a transcendent type of talent, but do you think he is going to be able to have around him what he needs to succeed, though, and to be the transcendent talent that he was, you know, when he was playing for Clemson?
I think that watching the first 2 rounds of the draft, without giving too much away, I think the Jets and the Jaguars made great moves, great pickups to keep their quarterback safe, to give them weapons, to up their defense. I mean, they did good. They did damn good. Both of the teams I thought were like they were actually smart in picking their quarterback. It's not, hey, let's pick the quarterback and then just mess around. It's let's pick the quarterback. Let's give him weapons. Let's protect him. You know, I
Nice.
was really impressed with their draft.
Nice. Well, with that, speaking of the Jets, before we go over their number one, well, first round pick, but number 2 overall pick. Before we talk about that quarterback, you were saying that they picked up a lot of people to protect him and to give him weapons to be able to succeed. Is this kind of a slap to the face to Sam Darnold then, with all of he had no weapons, he didn't really have protection, the defense sucked. Like if you were Sam Darnold, how would you be feeling right now with how the draft went down?
I don't know. Like he could hold it against the front office of the Jets, but the front office of the Jets got fired. So it's a whole new front office. So that's why they came in, a whole new coach, whole new GM. That's why they came in and they're like, okay, let's change this up. Let's get back to our winning ways,
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think Sam Darnold can hold it against like the Jets organization. I mean, he could, but why not just move on and just say, you know what, screw you. You didn't do anything for me. Now I'm going to go win with the Panthers.
Like I'm gonna prove you wrong somewhere else. Yeah, just basically show them up there. So with the second overall pick, the Jets went with BYU quarterback Zach Wilson. I think a lot of people kind of knew it was going that way after his pro day, because he just like really impressed at the pro day. So with that, we kind of talked about a little bit, that the Jets have given him some weapons and they're protecting him and different things like that. So I guess for both quarterbacks, for Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, are they week 1 starters just because they're the number 1, number 2 overall pick, or how do you think that's gonna? Yeah.
Like who are they gonna? The Jaguars are gonna start Garden Mushroom. I mean,
ooh, poor Minshew. Poor Minshew.
I love Minshew. Like I love Gardner Minshew just because of the attitude he brings to the game. Like,
Yeah.
But why would you start him over Trevor Lawrence? And who do the Jets honestly have that they could start over Zach Wilson? They
nobody else.
anybody.
I don't even know who their backup is.
Trevor Siemian.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah. So they're both week 1 starters, guaranteed. Unless they get injured. I'm hoping they don't pull the Joe Burrow and get injured, or the Sam Bradford.
Glassford. So yeah, well, I mean, a lot of I can't remember if it was Urban Meyer or if it was the Jets coach. One of them had said that they weren't planning on starting him because they were worried about a Joe Burrow situation happening. So, I don't know how true that is. I mean, a lot of coaches kind of say that with the quarterback that they draft. They always say, well, we don't want to start them right away. We want to wait until they're ready. But I mean, if you're the number 1 overall pick, I would think you have to start week 1. That's the whole reason why you're the number 1 overall pick, is because you're an immediate starter. No matter what position you're playing, like if you're the number 1 pick, they think, okay, you're here to save our franchise. Like get in there and do it. So
yeah,
I definitely feel like both of them will definitely be starters week 1. Now once we got to the number 3 pick with the 49ers, even the NFL analysts who were waiting for the pick to happen kind of didn't know what route they were going to go. The 49ers were, I mean, you supposedly did, but no one else did. They were saying, are they going with Mac Jones? Are they going with the Trey Lance from North Dakota State? Like, what direction are they going to go? And if you've listened to the podcast, obviously I thought Mac Jones, so everyone knows the way I was leaning, because they were talking about him so much and praising him so much that I thought that was that was the route that they were going to go. But obviously they go with Trey Lance from North Dakota State. He didn't have many starts, and he didn't play against really any big name schools. So, I mean, do you think that it's going to be too much for him going into the NFL and playing for a team like the 49ers?
No, because a lot of the tape that people were watching was like his high school tape, and kid's good. He's not just a mobile quarterback. He's actually like he can drop dimes. Like he's good. The thing with him that I think is going to happen, and I kind of talked to you over text about it, is they only have like 331 pass attempts in college. That's all they had.
Yeah.
So that's all they have tape on. That's all defenses will have tape on until they actually play against him, till he gets a few games under his belt and they can see what he does. I think he's going to be a lot like Kaepernick was in the beginning. He's going to come in and nobody's going to know how to stop him.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to have that Kaepernick effect. But if he can learn and continue to change his game, he can continue to be unstoppable because he's always learning new things. But if he's that one-dimensional Colin Kaepernick player, then he's going to phase out pretty quick. So I think he'll be ready. I think he'll play well because nobody knows how to stop him. But once people figure him out, that's when he needs to start changing things up. So I would say the first year that he's played, yeah, he's going to be great.
Yeah, well, we'll see what year is his first year. I mean, as of right now, the 49ers still have Jimmy Garoppolo, which, I mean, at this point, I would think they would have traded or gotten rid of him by now if if they were able to. And so, I feel like he's going to learn under Jimmy G. I couldn't see him going in unless they have a really bad losing record and they're just like, okay, well, it doesn't matter. We're not going to make the playoffs, so let's put the rookie in.
Yeah.
So I really don't see him starting or playing unless their season is just going terribly.
Or unless Jimmy G gets injured in the first game again.
Yeah, exactly. Or if injury happens, obviously. So side note for 49ers with, picking up a quarterback, the rumor mill was, that the 49ers were throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the Packers to try to get Aaron Rodgers. And the Packers weren't allowing it to happen. Of course, now reports have come out saying Packers GM and owners, saying that Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere. So now Aaron Rodgers is contemplating retirement. So, I mean, is it really that bad? Or are they just like making this, more than what it actually is? Like, I don't know, just to have some type of media buzz right before the draft.
No, Rodgers wants out. He's angry. So they came to him and asked him to restructure his contract. And they asked him to take quite a bit less money. And his question to it was, you haven't put anybody around me to help me win. Why? Why do you want me to restructure my contract? I want an extension. Just extend me. On the extension, I'll take less money. On the last, give me 3 more years on top of the 3 years that I've got, and we'll call it good. And they said no. He's like, well, you guys haven't put weapons around me at all. Like, I have Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. That's it. Like, what else do I have? And they still haven't done anything. Like, well, we'll get into it, but in the second round of the draft, they actually picked somebody up really well that would be a great weapon for him. But that's his biggest frustration, is that they go out and draft a quarterback when they could have drafted one of the top receivers in the league.
Yeah.
They make a lot of choices that make him feel like he's not their quarterback. Like, they don't want him there. So he's done. He's like, I don't want to be here anymore. Which, I mean, that's valid. I would feel the same damn way, even if I was the MVP like he is.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I could see, the only reason why I could see him retiring and actually having it for a valid reason and a good reason is, side media stuff, because he's been hosting Jeopardy. So if they are like, hey, we want you to be the new host of Jeopardy, then obviously you can't be playing football. So, that's the only big reason I could see why he would actually, retire and go down that route, because he's already proven himself in the NFL. He's already a Hall of Famer. So, he doesn't have much to prove other than trying to get more Super Bowls under his belt, So it, it's interesting. The teams obviously were the 49ers. He said he wanted to go to the Broncos, which I have no idea why he would want to go to a team that isn't ready to win now. And then the Raiders, he was reported as wanting to play for them as well. Now the Raiders have some weapons on offense, obviously, that would be able to help him, but that defense is not ready, to be able to back up winning a Super Bowl. So the teams that he said that he was reported on, bless you. the teams that he was reported as like wanting to play for, I mean, no offense to your Raiders, but I just didn't see why any of those teams kind of made sense to go to at this time when he was saying he would be willing to play for any of those teams.
So the Raiders and the 49ers make sense. Raiders because it's Vegas, no sales tax or no state tax, that kind of stuff.
There you go.
But the 49ers, his fiance lives in San Francisco.
Oh.
And he just recently got engaged. So it puts him closer to his fiance.
Oh, there you go. Well, I guess, yeah, that would make more sense then. But all right. Well, with continuing on the draft, I guess it was just a lot of connections when it comes to making that pick, just because there was a lot of other factors trading into it. Because I'm sure the 49ers were offering their number 3 pick to the Packers to, be able to get Aaron Rodgers. So since they weren't able to get that deal done, they went ahead and got a quarterback anyway, since they couldn't get Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah. So they the offer was their first round pick this year, their first round pick next year, their second round pick this year, and Jimmy Garoppolo. And Packers said, nope, not enough.
We don't want Jimmy G.
Then the Broncos put together a package for him too, but I don't know what that package was. Like they haven't released what it was, but yeah, the Broncos actually put together a package to try to get Aaron Rodgers.
Oh wow!
And the Packers told them no. The Raiders were like, "No, we're good."
Yeah, we're fine.
Which I can appreciate. Like Derek Carr is no Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers also has 7 years on him in the NFL. You know, Aaron Rodgers has more time in the NFL. So, I mean, it could happen, but I mean, Derek Carr would be a great quarterback for Green Bay because him and Devontae Adams were teammates in college.
Oh, there you go. Well, speaking of teammates in college, we'll get to that later in the draft.
Yep.
So what's up?
That happened a few times.
A few times, yeah. It was actually pretty funny. So the number 4 overall pick was the Atlanta Falcons. And I thought for sure they were going quarterback, that they wanted someone to replace Matty Ice going forward. Not this Matty Ice, but a different Matty Ice. And they go with Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida, who has been talked up so much as going to be like a transcendent tight end, basically. He's going to be the next big thing for tight ends. Just the way that he dominated in college. This pick to me, I don't like, and I don't think it makes sense. I know that a lot of people on the NFL broadcast when it happened were justifying it by saying, hey, they're putting their faith in Matt Ryan. They're saying, hey, Matt Ryan, here's another weapon for you. We want you. You're the guy. But I still don't see why you don't try and go, get a quarterback to replace Matt Ryan, because he is getting up there, and they had such little faith in him last year with the way that the season went. I so in my opinion, I mean, I don't like the pick. I mean, he is gonna be a great tight end. I just don't see why that the Falcons decided to go and get him.
There's a lot of rumors that the Falcons are going to be trading Julio Jones. A lot of rumors about
So
it.
you get a tight end? Like,
Right? I think he's a tight end that could mold into a receiver. It could. It just depends. So I mean, they already have a good receiving tight end. I can't remember the kid's name, but they picked him up like 2 years ago.
is it Hooper? Or
No,
did Hooper go to the Browns?
Hooper went to the Browns. I can never remember this kid's name. He
I'm
got
gonna look
long
it up
hair though.
now. I'm gonna look it up now while you're talking about that.
Yeah. So it's hard for me because Matt Ryan's still a good quarterback. I think he's still a top 15 quarterback. The Falcons had the same problem last year that the Raiders had. They had a good offense. Matt Ryan didn't have a ton of turnovers. Like he had some, but he didn't have a ton. It was their defense that lost games.
Yeah. Oh, by the
Like
way, Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst, yeah. Hayden Hurst is pretty good. He's not a transcendent linebacker, but he's a
Tight
top
end.
10 or tight end. Yeah. Sorry, I'm tired. Wow, linebacker. Wow, dumbass. Anyway, he's a probably a top 10 tight end in the NFL. As far as receiving and blocking, he's pretty good. But this Kyle Pitts, like, I don't know, man. Like everybody's saying that he could be the next Tony Gonzalez. He could be the next Chris Cooley. Better than Travis Kelce and Darren Waller and George Kittle.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's time will tell. But why not keep your faith in a quarterback that's still accurate, that's still actually a good quarterback, can score? I think Matt Ryan is probably one of the. I would say he's a top 5 pocket passer in the NFL. He's not a top 5 quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but he's a top 5 pocket passer.
Yeah.
He's not that mobile quarterback that's going to extend plays that much, but he's definitely he could drop the ball on a dime from 50 yards. So why not keep your faith in him? Like it's fans that were throwing a fit about Matt Ryan and because the quarterback always gets the blame.
Yeah.
Trust me, I get it. If
Yeah.
if the defense won't keep teams from scoring, the quarterback gets to blame because they didn't score enough. No, it's the defense. Like I honestly think that they should have gone defense.
Yeah.
I really do. Like I think they should have gone defense, not tight end. But we'll see what this Kyle Pitts kid does.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I agree. So both of us kind of agree that it was a weird way to go with their pick. And talking about weird picks, the number 5 overall pick was the Cincinnati Bengals, and they go with Jamar Chase, wide receiver from LSU. So former teammate of Burrow, and I think that's why the Bengals were going down that route. They wanted to give him a wide receiver he's used to throwing to, and they're on the same page with. But you just had your quarterback get severely injured from not being protected. How the hell do you not go offensive line with your pick? Like, makes no sense whatsoever to me. Like, it just blew my mind. I was like, they said wide receiver, and I was just like looking around at Mel, and I was just like, what? Wait, what? Like, what's going on here? So, I mean, terrible pick in my opinion, but he's a great wide receiver, and obviously they have that connection because they used to play with each other. But I just wouldn't go that route if I was making that pick.
Yeah, same here. Like I was bowling watching the draft. Like we had it up on the TV while I was bowling and stuff, and I saw Jamar Chase, and I was like, "Wait, what? I what?" Because I figured he would go like him, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith would go outside of the top 10. Um, Spoiler here, two of them didn't, but yeah, when he went, I was like, I was fully expecting Cincy to take like Penei Sewell from Oregon,
Yeah.
the offensive tackle. Like that's who I was thinking they would take, or maybe Tevin Jenkins. But then they take a receiver. I'm like, okay, I get you need to replace AJ Green, and you don't have a good receiving core, but what? How's a receiver ever going to get open if you can't protect the quarterback? They had the 29th ranked offensive line last year.
Oh,
29th ranked. Joe Burrow, before he got injured, was sacked 62 times.
that's just outrageous.
That's in like half a season.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Like,
Yeah.
get some offensive linemen. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I'm glad we both agreed. Like as soon as we saw that, we were just like, what? What? So yeah, again, 2 picks in a row, the Falcons and the Bengals. I just put my hands up and I'm just like, what? So the number 6 pick was the Miami Dolphins, and they go with Alabama wide receiver Jalen Waddle, or yeah,
Jalen Waddle.
Waddle, yeah, Waddle.
Yeah.
And very surprising to me, in the sense of that they didn't go with Devontae Smith. I know Waddle was getting some really good numbers, some great numbers until he got injured. But then Devontae Smith comes in and freaking takes the Heisman, the first time a wide receiver has done that in like forever. And they have the connection because if Tua is going to be their quarterback, they didn't play together, Tua and Devontae Smith.
No, Devontae was on the team, but he was the number 4 receiver at the time, so he didn't really catch much.
So he's played with Waddle more then, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. But I don't know. I was just concerned because he didn't have as much play tape, obviously, because he got injured. But um, I don't know, with Devontae Smith coming in just dominating, and in that national championship game when he scored like 4 touchdowns in like the first half, it was like ridiculous. Like I was just like, okay, like this guy is going to be the first wide receiver to go in the draft, and you know, two wide receivers go ahead of him. But what do you think? I like that before I guess I let you answer, I just want to say that I like that the Dolphins did this. They need to get some more weapons around Tua. So going wide receiver in this spot, I think was actually a really good move by the Dolphins.
Going wide receiver was great. And Jalen Waddle I think he's a better receiver than Devontae Smith.
Ah,
Devontae Smith was so the reason Devontae Smith actually got so many yards is because nobody knew who to double cover. So they would double cover Jalen Waddle because he was the faster of the two. So when you have so I have to throw this out there. This is the second year in a row that Alabama has had 2 receivers go in the top 20.
yeah,
And last year it was Henry Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy. So Henry Ruggs and Jalen Waddle were a lot alike. They're the speedsters. They can get out and they get the ball and they're gone. While Jerry Jeudy and Devontae Smith were a lot alike, where everybody was covering the speed, so they got open and they got to tear it up. So it's don't allow the home run, but then you're giving it to somebody else that can actually run the home run. Um,
and speaking
I
of
think
the
that's why Jalen Waddle went first, is because Jalen Waddle's the home run guy. The Dolphins don't really have that home run guy.
that's true.
What's his name? The guy that actually is on there still. Can't remember their receiver. I am like brain farting today. Normally I know my stuff. Wow. But like I mean, they have a good receiving core for the Dolphins,
Yeah.
but they don't have that home run hitter. And I don't think Devontae Smith really is that home run hitter. He's more of the Jerry Judy. He's going to get you
They
on the
got
sides.
they got Will Fuller, um, Devontae Parker.
That's it. Devontae Parker. He's their number one receiver right now, but he's not a home run hitter. He's not the guy that's going to like burn people. And that's where Jalen Waddle comes in. Jalen Waddle is fast. He's not as fast as Henry Ruggs, but he's fast.
Yeah. Well, you were saying the Alabama players being taken in the top first round, and I think they said it was either a record or tied a record that there was like 6 Alabama players taken in the first round this year, and that's like insane that there is that many Alabama players taken in the first round. So yeah, and so all offense for the first 6 picks in the draft. And then number 7, the Detroit Lions go with Penny Sewell.
Penny Sewell.
Sewell. Yeah, Sewell. So the Oregon offensive line that we thought that the Bengals were going to go with, the Lions. It basically, I think the Lions were like, oh my God, he fell to us. Like, I'm sure they were probably surprised. And so they went and took him because I assume, having Jared Goff and what they traded to get him and stuff, that they're thinking, well, we need to protect our quarterback. So, definitely like a smart move on the Lions' part, going and getting him to be able to do that. I don't really have much to say about it, just because it's a good pick, and the Lions need to protect Jared Goff. So
Yeah, no, Penny Sewell I thought was going to go number 5, honestly. Like, just like you thought. I figured he was going to go with the Bengals, but the Lions kind of fell into the Lions' lap, and he's the type of offensive tackle that you can't really pass up. So, the dude in his entire college career in Oregon gave up 1 sack in
yeah,
3 years.
and I
3
think
years, 1 sack.
Yeah, and I think they said like out of it was an outrageous amount of games. I can't remember how many. He only had like 1 holding penalty or something. It was like
Yeah,
something crazy. So yeah, like he is really good. So we'll see how he does for the Lions, and the Lions need that help in the trenches.
yep.
Um, the number 8 pick was the Panthers, and I'm kind of surprised by this pick. They go with CB Jace Horn from South Carolina. Um, I didn't think they'd go defense. I mean, I know their coach is very defense oriented, but with getting Sam Darnold in there, I thought they would get him a weapon at wide receiver. You still have Devontae Smith sitting right there that you could get and give Sam Darnold someone to throw to.
Yeah. No, JC Horn he's good, but yeah, I didn't expect them to go defense as well. I thought they were going to go like receiver. They don't need a running back because they have Christian McCaffrey coming back. But yeah, this one kind of I scratched my head a little bit on it, but I mean,
And so did the NFL analysis people on the show. They were just like, well, this is a good pick. He's a good player, but it just seems like you would get someone for Sam Darnold. So
yep,
that didn't make too much sense to me. The number 9 overall pick was the Denver Broncos, your favorite team, and they they got Pat Surtain the second, the CB from Alabama.
yeah, this one made me nervous, dude. Like as soon as they picked him, I was like, oh crap. Yeah, he runs like a 4.35 40. He's very physical, very fast. They actually compare him to a young Richard Sherman,
Oh
as
gosh, nice.
he can lock down. But then his speed is up there with like Darrell Revis.
Hmm.
So he's going to be one of the corners to watch this year. Like he's gonna shut people down. They're gonna put him on Tyreek Hill and watch him shut Tyreek Hill down.
Oh,
Like
I would love to
he's
see that matchup. That'd be interesting.
Patrick Surtain. He was coming out as like the number 1 or number 2 cornerback in the draft. Like, and this is all over. Every single analyst was like all over Pat Surtain. Like he is going to be a beast in the NFL.
All right, awesome. Well, that'll be fun to watch those matchups that he has to go against then with that division.
No, it won't because he's in the Broncos.
What's up?
No, it won't. I don't like it.
And then the number 10 overall pick did belong to the Cowboys, but then they traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm surprised that they traded up to do that, because I think they still could have gotten who they picked at their spot, but they trade with the Cowboys, and they go for Devontae Smith, the wide receiver from Alabama. So a lot of speculation if they were going to go quarterback, or if they were going to stick with Hurts. So it looks like they're sticking with their quarterback, and they gave him a weapon to throw to. He kind of almost reminds me of someone coming in like a shoot. Why am I blanking on his name right now? The wide receiver that the Rams picked up in the offseason. He used to be an Eagle.
Alshon Jeffrey?
No, the Rams picked up that we got.
I
don't know why I'm blanking on names.
Yeah,
too.
super fast guy. He played for the Bucks too.
Yeah,
went back to the Eagles.
You're making me brain fart now too. I don't appreciate it. I'm gonna look it up now because it's bugging the heck out of me. But he reminds me of someone coming in like Deshaun Jackson. There we go.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of Deshaun Jackson, and I think the Eagles probably saw that in him, and that's why they like traded up and are getting him. I think he kind of reminds me of a little bit of that. So Eagles desperately needing help at wide receiver. So I mean, how do you feel about them getting him?
So it just gave the Eagles 2 first-round wide receivers, because last year they got Jalen Reagor. If both of them stay healthy, they're money, dude.
In a weak division too.
Yeah. Well, that division might not be so weak anymore, but yeah, no, they.
Why do you say that?
I think it's a great pickup. I don't know. I think the Cowboys are going to be strong this year. I hate to say it, but I really do.
If they turn that defense around, they definitely can. So
yeah, they made some good picks on their defense. So, but no, having Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor, like I think that's going to be amazing for
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Hurts. So many names right now, dude. I don't know why I'm brain farting so much. This is crazy.
Names.
Yeah. It's bad. But no, having both of them is going to be great for Hurts. Like, now you've got 2 first round wide receivers that both are like damn good. They both have a different skill set. He's got a home run hitter in Jalen Reagor, and then he's got the all around, like, what's the right word? Safety net in Devontae Smith.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Devontae Smith is almost one of those people of, give him the ball and then let him do his thing. As long as you get the ball in his hands, he's able to do something. So, they move up, they get him. The Bears then trade up. Who did they trade with? I can't remember now.
The Giants.
So the NFC East teams trading out of their picks, trading with some other teams. So the Bears trade up to the number 11 pick from the Giants, and they go and they get their quarterback Justin Fields, which again it was funny. I don't know if you probably didn't notice because you were bowling, but they, you know how they do the pictures of the players like at their homes.
Yeah.
So they had Mac Jones at the draft because he thought he was going to go a lot higher, obviously. And then Justin Fields was at home. So they show Mac Jones and he's not on his phone, and the Bears are like, you know, doing their pick. So usually you can be like, okay, they're not picking him because he's not on his phone. Then they shoot over to Justin Fields' house, and it's his couch and it's completely empty. There's no family, no anybody. And a couple people start like walking into the shot, and one of his family members is wearing a Bears hat. And they haven't announced the pick yet, and I'm just like, I wonder where he's gonna go. And the camera quickly like cuts back to like the sports announcers, and I was just like, well, that kind of gave that away.
Wow.
So it was just really funny. I was just like, man, they did a pretty terrible job of keeping that a secret. But yeah. So how do you feel about Justin Fields being the guy for the Bears, trying to bring back the magic that Trubisky had when he was first there?
Not gonna lie. I thought they were going Mac Jones.
Oh, okay.
I did, like, when, because I didn't see that part, but there was like kind of watching the analysts and stuff when I was bowling, and I was like, oh, they're gonna go Mac Jones. Like, I really think they're gonna take Mac Jones. They like his skill set, and then they picked Justin Fields, and I'm like, I honestly, like, as good as Fields is, I didn't expect him to go first round.
Oh, wow.
Well, because of the heart condition and things, like, teams weren't really trusting that. That's why he dropped as far as he did. That's why Trey Lance was able to jump him, was because of that. That's why Zach Wilson was able to jump him, was because of that heart condition. Teams didn't trust that. I think if it turns out that it's nothing and he's amazing, then great. Then I get to listen to my wife be angry all the time because the Bears are good and she's a Packers fan. So I
Well,
I think
one of
it's a
the
great. I think it's an amazing pickup. It really was.
yeah,
And
one
it's funny because two of the guys that I bowl with are Bears fans, and one of the guys on the opposing team on Thursday
yeah.
is a Bears fan. And they're like, yeah, we got our quarterback, blah, blah, blah. I was like, didn't you just say that a couple of years ago? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, when you guys traded up to get Mitch Trubisky, like you threw the whole freaking kitchen sink just to get Mitch Trubisky. And like 8 picks later, it was Pat Mahomes. He's like, yeah, we screwed up there. And I was like, hopefully you didn't screw up here. But they still have, don't they still have Nick Foles on the squad? And then they picked up Andy Dalton too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So my question is, who the hell's going to start?
I mean, they said it was Andy Dalton, so I don't know, but I mean, we'll see. Obviously, I don't think they want to throw him in just yet. They might wait for Aaron Rodgers to retire first, and then they'll push Justin Fields. Because I mean, one of the announcers, sports analysts, said, if Aaron Rodgers retires, he said that he considers Justin Fields the best quarterback in that division if Aaron Rodgers retires. So, it it'll be interesting to see. I don't think they throw him in right away, especially with the veteran quarterbacks that you said that are playing on the team. But they trade up and they get their guy, their quarterback of the future. So Mac Jones, still waiting. Pick number 12 then is the Cowboys, which I know that we differ on this, and that's good because we can't always agree on everything. But the Cowboys go with Micah Parsons, the inside linebacker from Penn State. And as soon as that happened, I messaged you, and I was like, what the hell are they doing getting another linebacker when they already have 2 starting linebackers? I mean, they drafted
Vander Esch.
Venderesh, yeah, in like the top 10 the year he got drafted. So I mean, it's and they have the other guy that they have faith in as well that's, really good.
Jalen Smith.
Yeah, they came back from injury. So why the hell are you getting another linebacker? I mean, you have all these other positions that you have to take care of on defense, and you choose one that you already have two solid guys at. So I know you'll give your side of it, but I am gonna stick with not liking this pick through and through. And I messaged David, who is a Cowboys fan, and he hated it. He, as a fan, he said that he didn't like the pick either, and he had no idea why they went linebacker. So two people not really happy with this. And I know it's because you love him and you were hoping that this player was going to drop down to you guys, but yeah, I just don't like the pick.
So let me start off by saying that Jerry Jones always picks the pretty pick.
Yeah.
He always takes the pretty pick.
Yep.
Always does. We know that. He took CeeDee Lamb. They didn't need a receiver. Look how good CeeDee Lamb was last year.
He was all right. I think if he would have had Dak, he could have done better.
Yeah, having Dak, when he had Dak, he was actually really good. So the thing with Micah Parsons is Sean Lee retired. Their middle linebacker retired. So they pick up Micah Parsons, who is better than Sean Lee, in my opinion. He's a guy that can actually drop in coverage, and he's good in coverage. He's like 250 pounds and ran a 4.4 40. Like, the dude he's a sideline to sideline player. His hit power they compared to Ray Lewis. So you now have a new Ray Lewis that can actually cover. Like, he's good. He's damn good. Yeah, I wanted him. I was really hoping because he opted out last year due to COVID. So I was hoping that teams would kind of overlook him and he would drop to 17 for the Raiders because, like John Gruden said flat out, if he drops, I'm taking him. Like, him and Mike Mayock both loved him. And like, watching the tape on Micah Parsons, the dude is probably one of the best defenders to come out of this entire like draft.
Yeah.
Like, hands down. Like, he is that good. He can cover like a safety. He can run sideline to sideline. He hits as hard as Ray Lewis. He can get after the quarterback. He's a run stopper. Like, the dude does everything. So he's going to be Sean Lee times 5.
Well, if he's Ray Lewis in not times anything, if he's just a Ray Lewis, that's gonna be scary because Ray Lewis, so yeah, like, he was transcendent. He, obviously a Hall of Famer for the Ravens, and he helped them with being on one of the best defenses in NFL history. So I can understand, yeah, if he's going to be, one of those type of players, then you can't pass up on, a transcendent player. But I still just didn't like the pick as much when they could, go with some other defensive areas to, obviously address. But we'll see. The number 13 pick was the Los Angeles Chargers, and they went with offensive tackle Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. And I guess Northwestern hadn't had a pick in the first round in like 20 years or something like that. So like, everyone was like really excited about that. So I know he was high for offensive tackle. So, you're protecting your young quarterback who did amazing last year, even with, not being as protected. So if you're giving him even more protection, I mean, the Chargers could be, a team to look out for. And I know they had to have some players stay healthy on defense too, but and the Chargers have to get over that hump of always like losing the game at the last little bit. They somehow throw the game like all the time. But But yeah, how do you feel about them taking the offensive tackle?
I think it was a good pick, but there are other offensive tackles that are better. And I'm going to say the same thing about the Raiders pick, just so you know. But just there were other offensive tackles that were rated higher that were
Yeah.
actually better. Like, why not go after Christian Darrisaw? Like, Christian Darrisaw was the top ranked, he's a top ranked offensive tackle. Why
Yeah.
not go after, I think it's what's his name? Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why didn't they go after him? That dude's a freaking monster. But no, they take, uh, yeah. I don't get it, dude. Like,
Fair enough. Well, uh, we'll go on to the 14th pick then, which is the Jets, which originally it was the Vikings, and the Jets trade up to get this pick from the Vikings. And like you said, the Jets making some moves to be able to help their new quarterback that they just got. So they go offensive guard. It's not giving me his full name here, but
well, it's
Elijah
Elijah Vera Tucker.
Vera Tucker. There you go. So he was from USC. So Jets making a smart move at going for offensive line to protect their quarterback.
Yeah, no, Elijah Vera Tucker is one of the top ranked offensive linemen. Period. He was able to move between guard and tackle pretty seamlessly, and it's a great pickup for the Jets. Definitely keep Zach Wilson safe. When I saw that pick, I was impressed. Like I said, that I think the Jets had a great freaking draft so far. But yeah, picking up Elijah Vera Tucker he was projected to go in the top 10,
Yeah.
and he went 14. Like, he dropped all the way to 14. So it was a great pick.
Yeah, definitely. And then at number 15 was the Patriots, and I think everyone kind of knew where they were going with this pick once it got there. So Mac Jones, the quarterback from Alabama, finally getting picked at 15 with the New England Patriots. So the quarterback of their future. Obviously everyone wants to compare him to Tom Brady and see, if Bill Belichick can make another Tom Brady. But did Bill Belichick really make Tom Brady, or was it vice versa? So, it'll be interesting to see once they finally throw him in, because obviously they have Cam Newton still. So I don't think Mac Jones will start. Um, but I think it was a smart move by them. They needed to finally invest in a quarterback, because they never did ever since Tom left. So, or ever since Tom was there, because they never got a predecessor other than Jimmy G, and they never used them. They traded them away. So I think it's high time they finally invested in trying to get a quarterback of the future instead of just settling.
Yeah, settling for Cam Newton, who throws the ball into the dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Um, Cam Newton has shown that he's a running back now. He's not a quarterback anymore.
Right.
Terrible. When he's run for more touchdowns than he threw, like, yeah, there's a problem. But this is only the second time that Bill Belichick has ever taken a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
Jimmy G was the other one,
Yep.
and he ended up trading off Jimmy G. But he had Tom Brady. I really think I'm going to say Cam Newton starts half the year. That's it. And then Belichick gets tired of it and throws Mac Jones in and says, "Let's see what you got, boy."
All right. Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think they'll miss the playoffs again. So
Yep.
alrighty. So Mac Jones finally gets his call. At number 16, the Arizona Cardinals go with outside linebacker Zaven Collins from Tulsa. So they go on defense. They're trying to keep the defense mindset going with getting JJ Watt in the offseason. So trying to add some more bolster to that.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad as a Rams fan. I don't want them to be any better on defense, but you know, it is the way things go. I still say, you know, if the 49ers were still doing as well as what they were doing when they went to the Super Bowl, that our division would still be, you know, one of the toughest divisions, you know, in the NFL, other than the 49ers. So, you know, because I think the Cardinals have stepped up. I think the Seahawks somehow always find a way to be in there. If the Russell Wilson thing would have played out and he would have left, then maybe I would have been like, oh yeah, like we have to do is worry about the Cardinals. But you know, he's still there even after all the complaining that he did. So all right, and then we can get on to your team now at the number 17 pick. The Las Vegas Raiders go offensive tackle Alex Leatherwood from Alabama.
Yeah, when I saw this, I saw the pick, I was like, all right, there's some players that we can grab. You know, why we can get Trayvon Morig. We can get like Tevin Jenkins, and then they say Alex Leatherwood. My initial reaction was who? Like everything that I've been looking at, like this kid wasn't even like rated as top 10 for offensive tackles, not just linemen.
Yeah.
But I was trying to figure out like why they went for him. And then I started kind of watching some of the tape. He had 41 starts for Alabama, number one team in the SEC. In his 41 starts, he gave up 3 sacks at right tackle.
Nice.
That's comparable to Trent Brown. Like that. Yeah. Mike Mayock came out and flat out said he's a day one starter. You know, yeah, a lot of people didn't expect us to take him, but this kid is a day one starter. He's mean in the trenches. He looks sweet in his pictures, but trust me, this kid is far from sweet. And he's our right tackle, day one starter. Like he will bolster our line better than any of the offensive line that we looked at. Yes, they may have had a better skill set, but they wouldn't have meshed with our offensive line. This is the guy that we were looking for. So it irritates me because Mike Mayock and John Gruden keep making freaking excuses about their round 1 picks. Like, dude, we reached on Cleveland Farrell. We reached on Damon Arnett. Why the hell do you make excuses for that? We know that they are not the players that you drafted. Like, they're nowhere near what you expected from them when you drafted them. So are fans supposed to sit back, or analysts supposed to sit back and look at, oh, you drafted Alex Leatherwood over freaking Tevin Jenkins and Christian Darrisaw, like, who are the top 2 rated offensive tackles, but you took Alex Leatherwood.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely reached this guy. Like they looked second round, possibly third round for Alex Leatherwood to be drafted. That's what every analyst was saying.
Yeah.
Like he's a second round, third round talent. Even the scouts were saying he's a second round, third round talent. But I don't know. I'm glad that they picked up an offensive line because we needed it.
Yeah.
I just think there are better ones out there.
Fair enough. And then the 18th pick was the Miami Dolphins. They went with defensive end Jalen Phillips from Miami. So Dolphins going back to the coach's original, defensive roots, defensive minded, with picking up this player after, picking up the wide receiver with their first pick. He was like, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. Let's go back to just beating people. So they get a defensive end from Miami. And like I said, I think they had a pretty good defense last year, and I think everyone was surprised at how well their defense was last year. It really kept them in games and really dominated and helped the offense do as well as what the offense did, because they were always putting them in great field position. So not a bad idea to pick up a defensive end with that pick. I'm going to try to move along a little bit quicker with some of these, just so that way we can get to some of the second round picks that stood out to us. We won't go through all the second round picks, but I think there were a couple that are noteworthy to bring up. So let's see. So then the number 19 pick was the Washington football team. A lot of people thought the Washington football team were going to trade up and try to get, Mac Jones or Justin Fields. And they didn't. They stayed at the, pick that they were at. So they went with inside linebacker Jamin Davis from Kentucky. So they go defense. Are you surprised by that?
Nope. Jamin Davis is another one of those linebackers that I think could have gone to the Cowboys with Micah Parsons, instead of Micah Parsons. It was really those two that stood out as like the kind of the top linebackers in this draft. I'm surprised Jamin Davis dropped as far as he did. But no, this just puts another first round draft pick on defense for the Washington football team. Yeah. They are going to be a scary defense this year. I would say they could possibly be in the top 5 defenses this year.
Oh, wow.
If they could get their offense together, they're going to be a scary team, and they're not going to go freaking 5-11.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of NFC East, then the Giants, who traded their pick from the Bears, so they get the Bears pick at 20. They went wide receiver Kadarius Toney from Florida. To be honest, I didn't think he was one of the top wide receivers, so I was just kind of surprised to hear his name. I knew some other names a lot better than him, to be honest. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to help. What's his name? The quarterback there for the Giants, Jones.
Yeah, Daniel Jones.
Yeah. So we'll see if that can be like another excuse me, weapon for him or not. And then at 21, the Indianapolis Colts, they go defense. They go defensive end Kwity Paye from Michigan. So going defensive for the Colts, because they picked up Carson Wentz in the offseason. So they feel like they're, pretty solidified the offensive spot.
Well, and they re-signed T.Y. Hilton too.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So, so they go defense, and then at 22, the Tennessee Titans go with CB Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech. So two local guys go back to back for me. One going to the Tennessee Titans, and then the next pick was the Minnesota Vikings, and they went and got offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw, I guess is how you say that. Darrisaw.
Christian Darrisaw. He's the one that I was saying that the Raiders should have grabbed instead of freaking Alex Leatherwood.
There you go. So, obviously the Vikings trying to help Kirk Cousins, help Delvin Cook, get the protection and run game, going even more, for them. And then this one, the next pick was an interesting pick. The Pittsburgh Steelers go with running back Najee Harris from Alabama. the Steelers lost their running back in the offseason. He left, James Conner. So obviously they needed to replace him. And I think this is a great pick for the Steelers because he's one of those guys that I feel like plays like a Steeler. He kind of just will run over guys and, get, down and dirty for them to be able to get like the yards that they need. I feel like the Steelers the offseason really killed them with all the people that they lost.
Yeah. No, Najee Harris, like they compare him to Derrick Henry. Like saying he's the next Derrick Henry. He's a big back that'll just run you over.
Yeah, and you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
And the Steelers need to get their run game going because unfortunately they still have Big Ben. So
yeah, he's 6'1", 232 pounds. But it was one of the games that we watched the highlight where he hurdled that freaking cornerback that's like 6'3".
Yeah.
He straight hurdled him, and like the cornerback wasn't kneeling down, he was standing up, and he cleared him completely. Like 232 pounds, being able to jump that high, and still being able to run people over, he's gonna be a good running back. But it could be like the same trajectory that like Derrick Henry did, where first couple of years he really didn't do much, and then he just busted out with like a 2,000-yard season out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, especially since the Steelers don't have that great of an offensive line either. Now that they've lost some of the people that have gone elsewhere.
Or retired.
What's up?
Or retired.
Yeah. So the number 25 pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they decide to go running back Travis Etienne. So they pair him up with their second pick in the first round with his former quarterback of Clemson, with Trevor Lawrence, which I remember when I was watching it, I was like, it'd be so funny if they put them two back together when they were playing in college. And I messaged you and I was like, they did it. Oh my God, they did it. They picked him. So it just blew my mind. Like I've never seen before where they like pair teammates up like that, where it's quarterback, running back. Like usually somehow they always get split up onto different teams, or even quarterback, wide receiver. But it seems like they paired up a lot of quarterback, wide receivers this year too. So I think it's an amazing pick. I've always been on the bandwagon of Travis Etienne. I still think he's the best running back in this draft. But I could be a little biased, but I think he's the most all-around back. I think he can catch out of the backfield better than anyone. He's a great receiver. He's a great running back. So, I think he's got it all. And the Jaguars, I think, got a great steal out of getting him all the way down at number 25.
I can agree with you there. My only concern with it is they have James Robinson already. Like James Robinson was an undrafted free agent they picked up last year. So as a rookie, he was in the running for Rookie of the Year because he rushed for 1,200 yards and caught 500 yards.
Yeah, but as you know, most teams need a dual threat running back to be able to succeed. You got to be able to use one and then put a fresh one in right after to be able to keep it going. The 49ers proved that when they went to the Super Bowl with 3 running backs that all were almost had over 1,000 yards rushing each. So,
I think this gives them probably one of the scariest backfields in the NFL.
Yeah, it really does. So they go Travis Etienne. Pick number 26 is the Cleveland Browns, and they go with CB Greg Newsome II from Northwestern. So the first time that 2 Northwesterns have been picked in the first round in I think the history of their college. And I remember I messaged you and I was just like, why do the Browns need another CB? They got 3 in the offseason. I don't understand. What are they doing? How many do they need?
Right.
And you basically were just like, they want all of them. they want all
What
the TVs. Like,
if you look at what they've done to their defense? Like, dude, they're going to be scary. Like, yeah, they dropped Sheldon Richardson, but they picked up Jadeveon Clowney. Like, the
yeah,
Browns are in win now. Like, they are totally in win now mode.
they really are. It's gonna be scary next year for them for sure. So yeah, they go defense to make their defense even better. At pick 27, the Baltimore Ravens go with Rashad Bateman, wide receiver from Minnesota. Um, Again, starting to get into the area of wide receivers that I don't really know. I mean, once those top ones kind of got picked, after that it starts getting into to names you don't really know and people you don't really know. So, but the Ravens obviously trying to give some more weapons for Lamar Jackson because they recently just gave him his 5th-year option for Lamar Jackson. So this is going to be a big year for him, I guess, because they feel that he's probably already should have been to a Super Bowl with how their records were, during the regular season. So this is kind of, they're saying, hey, we're going to give you another weapon. You got to go out and prove it now. You got to show that you're more than just a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Rashad Bateman's a little guy, though. He's only 6 foot. So
Oh, gosh. Well,
that's the funny thing. Like, none of these receivers are really big.
No, they're not. None of them are like a Julio, coming out and just being like giant.
Or Megatron, where he's like 6'5",
Right? At pick 28 was the Saints, which they reportedly were saying that they wanted to trade up into the top 10, but obviously they weren't able to do that. The pick was defensive end Peyton Turner. So the Saints go with defense for that pick. And if they were trading into the top 10, I feel like they were, you would think they were trying to get a quarterback, but they paid their quarterbacks all that money, Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. So I don't know why they were going to try to go for another quarterback if that was the case, but instead they go defense, and we'll see what they can do without Drew Brees. This will be an interesting year for the Saints. That's
Yep.
for sure. Pick 29, the Green Bay Packers, they go with Eric Stokes, CB from Georgia. So the Packers still trying to go defense, which is interesting because, I feel like their defense is pretty good. It's not amazing, but they're good. They can stop teams when they need to. But
Yeah, you have your Hall of Fame MVP quarterback that wants to leave because you don't give him weapons, and then you go out in the first round and draft a cornerback.
Yep. It makes sense. It makes sense. And then pick number 30 was the Buffalo Bills. They go with defensive end Gregory
Rosso
from Miami. So Bills trying to make that defense a little bit better. Their defense used to be pretty stout, and then their offense was questionable, but now their offense is pretty stout and their defense isn't on the same level, So they're trying to finally get it where it's perfectly, both of them are great and both of them are where they need to be. I feel like the Bills are kind of in a win now too, because their window is very small to be able to do what they want to do. They were one game away from the Super Bowl, but they ran into the Chiefs. So, they got to try to figure out how to get past the Chiefs. And so they're going defensive end, try to make that defense even better to be able to stop Mahomes. So, and then pick number 31, which I guess was supposed to be the Chiefs, and then it was traded to the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens go outside linebacker Ottawa.
Odafe Owa.
Daffy Owa. There you go. I'm glad you can pronounce all of these. From Penn State. So they go wide receiver with their first pick in the first round, and then they go defense with their second pick. So still trying to improve that defense. And again, I mean, you have to improve that defense when you're playing against the Browns and all the people that they have on their defense now. So definitely have to try to keep up with them. And then the last pick in the first round was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they go with outside linebacker Joe Tyrone from Washington. So they go on defense. That defense is already pretty good. At least they showed up in the playoffs. So definitely just trying to make that defense even better, try to make that that back-to-back Super Bowl run for good old Tom Brady before he decides to retire. So that was the first round. We're not going to take much time to talk about the second round. I think we can just pick out a couple players that couple picks, I mean, that stood out to us in the second round, and then call it good. So with that, I know there was a couple that I wanted to pick out. Was it the second or third round? Maybe it was the third round that there was something that
One that
surprised.
really stood out to me was the Chicago Bears trading up to number 39 in the second round, the seventh pick in the second round, to grab Tevin Jenkins. He's the one that I was telling you about. This dude is like, he's massive. He looks like a freaking nerd in his pictures. Like he really does. He looks like this nerd, but he's 6'6", 317 pounds, solid muscle. Like this dude picks up defensive tackles and throws them. Like he is the other one that I was telling you that I was hoping the Raiders would grab in the first round. He is a beast, probably one of the strongest, meanest offensive tackles to ever come out of college. Like he's going to be a game-changing tackle. And the Bears got him to protect Justin Fields.
There you go. Smart move on their part then.
Yeah.
So actually it was the third round is the two picks that I want to point out because they were back to back. So, well, actually one was in the second and then the first one in the third. So in the second, the 66th pick went to the Minnesota Vikings. They take Kellen Mond, the Texas A&M quarterback, which I actually like this quarterback a lot. And so this could be good for the Vikings, if Cousins is not, doing what he's supposed to be doing and not performing all the money that they paid him to be able to take them to the next level. They could put this rookie in. He could do something. I really like him a lot. Like, I don't know why his draft stock went down so much, but I was talking about last year at the end of the season when, they were talking about not going with Goff in the future. I said, let's get this quarterback from Texas A&M. Like, I felt like he could be something really good, but the Vikings picked him up in the last pick in the second round. And then the very next pick after that was the Texans, and they went with a quarterback. They went with Davis Mills from Stanford. So is this kind of, are they saying like, okay, well, if, these things continue with Deshaun Watson, then, we're going to go with this quarterback? Like,
Yeah. They don't have another backup, so why not throw the rookie in, see what he can do? Because we don't know if Deshaun Watson's actually going to play. I think it was a great pickup because, I mean, he's a Pac-12 quarterback. He's Stanford. Stanford is known for putting out decent quarterbacks, not amazing quarterbacks. They've had one, Andrew Luck.
I was going to say Andrew Luck. That's about it.
But yeah, I think it was a great pickup for the Texans.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of sending, some of these picks sometimes just send like a message, I'm just like, hey,
You're done with your crap.
right. So those kind of stood out to me a lot. Let's see, what was
The other one the one that stood out to me like huge as in the second round, pick 52, the Browns again. Somehow this player dropped to them, Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa. Like he's another linebacker up there with like Micah Parsons and Jamin Davis. That this guy should not have dropped this far. Like he is good.
yeah.
He's another one of those transcendent linebackers that he's going to be amazing. And he was one that I was hoping the Raiders would pick up in the first round. You know, is one of those linebackers that I was really hoping for. Like I said, I can't complain because we did get offensive line. It's definitely a help. But then, of course, the Raiders in the second round, they traded up, got the guy that I wanted, Trayvon Morig. He's a free safety. He's one of those like deep free safeties that can cover really well. But then you and I kind of discussed the Rams pick in
Yeah.
the second round, like what you thought about Tutu Atwell.
I mean, he's from the tape that I saw, obviously he's really fast. A lot of people say he's going to be great at doing punt returns. So a lot of people are comparing him to like a Tavon Austin or like a Pharaoh Cooper. And we have Matthew Stafford now, and he can get the ball down the field. So if he's a speedster, almost like maybe like a Brandon Cooks, then that's going to be fine with me. We can take the top off of some defenses with putting him in. And then having Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, to take, the middle of the field like they do really, really well, then, that's going to be okay with me. Or like, using them as like a Tyreek Hill where you do like end arounds and stuff like that. I just hope they use them is all I'm worried about. I just want them to use the speed while he has it. If you're getting a speedster, then use it. Like don't just put them in punt return and call it good. Like, just I hope they actually use them. So we'll see if he's as fast as what everyone's saying.
And then the other one that really stood out to me in the second round was the Bucks going and getting honestly
Yep.
probably their quarterback of the future after
Yep.
Tom Brady.
Yep.
With Kyle Trask. Like I did not expect Kyle Trask to drop that far. Like to the last pick in the second round. Like
He
what?
was he was fourth in Heisman voting. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And he dropped that far down.
like I was real surprised. I think that was actually a great pickup by the Bucks, to be honest. And, if Tom Brady is the great guy that he says he is and everyone thinks he is, he needs to take this guy under his wing and make this happen. Like
Yeah.
set the Bucks up for success in the future. Like don't sit there and be like like I'm the guy, like I'm Tom Brady, I'm a Hall of Famer, I don't need this, like, or like I don't know how much he did that when he was with the Patriots, but I feel like the Patriots never could groom anyone to come up, and thinking because Tom Brady wasn't going to allow it, he was the guy, like. So I'm hoping that he gets his head out of his butt and actually like takes this guy under his wing and makes him into somebody, because this guy could actually be really good for them going forward. So yeah, that pick really surprised me as well, because you stole that from me. I was actually gonna point that out, and then you had pointed it out before I could. Um,
Sorry. I suck.
No. Well, the today will be the rest of the rounds 4 through 7. The only thing I'm going to point out with that is the Rams traded their third round pick to the 49ers for 2 fourth round picks. So we have 3 fourth round picks today. So I'll be interested to see what the Rams do. Excuse me. I think we need to go offensive line. Um, and defense, because having the number one defense is always rough, because then everybody wants the players that are on your team because you had the number one defense.
Yeah.
So I think we should go offensive line and defense today. So we'll see. What are you wanting to see out of the Raiders going forward today and for the rest of their picks?
Well, I was looking at like defense, but honestly, like with picking up Trayvon Morig and then turning around in the third round and having two picks in a row where we got Malcolm Kuntz, who's an edge rusher out of Buffalo, and then Divine Diablo, who's a safety out of Virginia Tech. I honestly think that we really increased our defense a lot. Malcolm Kuntz, like I never heard of that kid, and I started watching some tape on him last night just to kind of get an idea of who he is. Excuse me. Um, the dude has a fake spin move.
A fake spin move, huh?
Yeah, like he acts like he's gonna spin, and then he like they step to the side to stop the spin move, and then he rips around them. Like it's insane.
Damn.
He's a lot like Khalil Mack.
Ah,
And
okay.
his speed off of the edge, his way, his ability to get through the offensive tackle, his ability to get around the offensive tackle. He's a lot like Khalil Mack. Like I was super impressed with him, and that's a great pickup. So we have the power rusher in Max Crosby, right?
Yeah.
And then now we've added some speed rushers in Malcolm Kuntz and Yannick Ngakwe. I what I would like to see, honestly, because you don't see a lot of them coming off, is I don't think we have a fourth round pick. I think we traded our fourth round pick to trade up to 43. Um, looks like round four is already going, dude.
Yeah, round 4 is already going, but no, you don't have one.
Yeah, I would like to see a defensive tackle, honestly, in the fifth round. I'd love to see a defensive tackle. Get us some defensive tackle depth.
Fair enough. I like that. Alrighty, well, we'll see how the rest of the draft goes. It's always fun talking about the draft. It kind of takes up a lot of our time and kind of grading picks and grading how certain teams did or didn't do, the ones that we liked and didn't like. Next time we'll be able to talk more about the playoffs coming up because NBA has started having certain teams clinch playoff berths already. Hockey is having teams clinch playoff berths already, so we'll have fun being able to talk about those teams and the teams that are on the bubble that might be able to still get in at the last minute. Baseball is still going on, so talking about how that's going. But NFL usually takes center stage when it's the draft, so we decided to take up a whole episode with that.
I do
Appreciate
want
it.
to throw I do want to throw something out there really quick.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper is one stand up dude.
Oh
Like
yeah.
yeah, so you saw the pitch that kid hit him in the face, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, drilled him in the face. Like walking off, dude had a black, like Bryce Harper had a black eye. His nose was split open. Like it wasn't pretty, but he actually reached out to that pitcher and he said, I know you didn't hit me on purpose. And I mean, I think the pitcher's like first year, second year pitcher. Like he's a young kid.
Yeah.
And Harper was like, I know you didn't mean to hit me in the face, and I know that can actually cause like some PTSD for you as a pitcher. It can make you a little more shaky. If you ever need to talk or you need somebody to just kind of talk through things and help you out, he's like, you can always reach out to me. I'm always here to help out.
Yeah.
Like after getting hit in the face by this guy, he
Yeah.
reached out to help him out.
He wasn't like that before, so it's good that he's turned over a new leaf. Then that's good because he definitely was not like that before. So that's good to see that he reached out and did that. That's really good. And you could tell that the pitcher didn't do it on purpose because as soon as he hit him, the pitcher was like he was like, oh my gosh, like if they do it on purpose, they're just like whatever. They catch the ball, they go back to the mound. Like they do it on purpose. They act very nonchalant about it. But he was actually like, oh my god, like I hit him, type of thing. So yeah, you could definitely tell it wasn't on purpose. And we can talk more about that on the next episode too, because I feel like baseball is trying for some odd reason. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just newer people coming in, like the newer generation, but I feel like we've already had so many bench clearing things happen just because of people acting the way that they're acting. Like the guy from the Padres, like Tardis Jr.
Tatis, Fernando Tatis.
Yeah, like they were facing the Dodgers, like every time he hit a home run, he was mocking the pitcher as he was rounding the bases. Like,
Yeah. They just paid that dude like 10 years, 350 million. Like
yeah,
they just signed him to a 10-year contract, and he's being a cocky prick like that. Like,
yeah. And I saw last night when who was it? I think it was the Cardinals or some team, maybe the Reds. Like the pitcher struck out the batter, and he struck out one of the Mets players because they were playing the Mets. And as soon as he struck the guy out, like it was a big time play because like bases were loaded and it was the 8th inning and stuff like that. He struck him out, the inning was over. And of course the pitcher got pumped up, which is fine. He was like, yeah. But then like as the batter was like walking off, he started like talking to the batter and going like this, like, oh, you're running your mouth and blah, blah, blah. And so then the batter obviously came at him, And so like, I don't know why baseball is like going towards this new, like, you have to run your mouth and be cocky type of thing. Maybe I'm old school that way. Maybe the younger generation likes the way that it's going, but it just, I liked it better when you would perform, and that would prove yourself, and that would prove how good you are. You didn't have to hit a home run and then run your mouth as you're like running the bases,
right? There
but
was, yeah, we had the generation of respect.
yeah,
Like when Griffey hit his first home run off of Randy Johnson, like when they were no longer teammates, Griffey hit a home run off Randy Johnson, and as he was rounding, he wasn't cocky about it. He got to home plate and he walked out and he shook Randy Johnson's hand and then went to the dugout. Like, that's respect.
yeah. No, I definitely agree, and maybe we're just two old farts, but I guess we can debate that on the next episode.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, we appreciate the listens as always. Hopefully, everyone will enjoy this draft breakdown and how we felt about everything. You can always wrap things up like we always do, because even in the draft, what happened?
Earl Thomas still not signed.
Well, not signed. I feel like he's done, man. He's done. Like.
I think so too.
We're gonna be saying that forever. But we appreciate where to catch us on social media. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the great places. Look us up, listen. Send it to your friends, family, and let them listen to it. Especially if you know someone who's into the NFL draft, make sure they focus on this particular episode since we focused on that. And
I did want to throw one thing out there though. The second and third round, the Packers actually did come back and get some weapons. They got a receiver, they got Amari Davis, and then they got an offensive lineman, a center, to actually help Rodgers out. So they did good there. They just screwed up in the first round.
Yeah. We'll see when we do another episode. It might be a couple weeks. The countdown for baby Zoe is now upon us. So might be a little busy with future Rams fan there.
Raiders fan.
Oh,
I'm gonna get that little girl saying Raiders.
It would make me quite sad. make me sad. But we love you guys. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And until next time, we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Later.
Peace.